Welcome y'all to another edition of Marketflow. You can see we've got 8 days counting away down to NFT NYC, and we know we're going to get some banger news from Andy. What are we going to get? We don't know just yet, but we will find out soon. Well, you'll find out at the end of the fucking counter if you're wondering when. There you go. So let's get right into it. Let's see what we're doing with the market, where we left off last week, where we are at now. If you remember last week, we left off. I had established this zone that I said could be a DCA point for not only Bitcoin itself, but as a barometer reading of the market, right? What is the market doing? And we tapped in this zone and did fill that 62 like we thought. And we had a scenario we thought would take place because we had this Thor short call. Sure enough, we have broken out, broken trend. We've filled the short, and it's right now in profit. Could be finding support and legging up still. We're not sure. We're going to find out. Um, the RSI is getting a little bit near the top as well, short time frame. So maybe it will cool off, come down, and fill the take profit, basically retesting the EMA and our uptrend. If we continue to rip, right? If we continue to pump up all the way up here, nice new all-time high figure of about 82,000. Just below 82,000, we've got another Thor short call. Now, what we were looking at before, finishing last week, before we got, the kind of breakout of the RSI, started printing candles back up above the EMA and breakout of our downtrend, what we were looking at is we had these other zones established, right? We had a big gap in Bitcoin here where Bitcoin just jumped without testing really anything from 52 up to near 57. So we were looking at that top range of 56 and that low range of 52 is a DCA zone. And we were looking at, and again, a barometer reading of the market. And ultimately, if we took what is typical of a bull run pre-halving correction is 20 to 30%, or I'm sorry, 30 to 40% retrace. 40% would put us right down here in this bottom zone, right about 46,000. So that was our bearish scenario and our load up zones that we were looking for, right? Now, how do we know what zone to load up and what we should be looking at doing? This pattern, right? We didn't know if this pattern was going to take place right here, which look at that. It fits about fucking perfect. We didn't know if that pattern was going to take place right there or if we were going to continue to meet resistance and we were going to test these lower zones before we break out. But basically what we've been saying is we want to see this break and the retest of this downtrend to show us some bullish momentum and that we're really starting to leg back up, right? And it looks like that may have happened right here. So if we break down, we've got our barometers and our target zones for Bitcoin, 56K, 52K, and then the big one down here at 46. We continue to press up into new highs. Thor is calling to uh, our next zone to be about 82K. And if we extend our take profit over, you see the take profit point is exactly what was on resistance, right? What becomes resistance is tested as a support. So what Thor is saying is if we pump up to this 82K, we're going to come down and retest what was resistance. We're going to test that as a support and either continue to leg up or maybe break down further. But either way, even if we're to continue in a bullish scenario and look for all new all-time highs still, right? Just keep breaking highs. Thor is saying that if we pump into 82,000, there's a very high probability that we retest this last top here at 73 and a half. So keep that zone in mind. Looking into Solana. Solana has been making moves this entire fucking bull run, and it still is, right? I mean, when we started the Trader Tuesdays, we were talking about $20 Solana, $19 Solana, and here we are talking about $190 and $200 Solana. Let's fucking go, frogs fuck Thor Prince. You see, we had this Thor long call. It did fill out, and I basically shown what we were looking at again for the two scenarios. If we had the bearish scenario, we fill the long call and we drop down into this other zone, and we happen to have a Thor call right there because we probably wicked through the zone a little bit. Test the longer term EMA, that 200-day EMA. So Thor had a long call down here, and look at where the profit point is. Exactly on what was support, testing it for resistance. That was our bearish scenario, right? And we had some more massive. We got a massive Thor long call down here. Don't know that we'll visit that, but I will load the fuck up if we do. Anyway, then we had our bullish scenario here. If we fill the Thor entry call, which we did, we fill the Thor take profit, which we did, we come down, we retest to find support, which we did, and we actually found support almost exactly in this Thor long zone. If I zoom in on it, it's actually, I mean, this just shows you the accuracy of Thor sometimes. Look how we never really even got any candles to close in here, right? We just wicked into this zone, and then we found support on that zone perfectly. Beautiful call by Thor. And now we are pushing up to yet another Thor call, a Thor short for Sol. And if we do fill this call, again, it's not saying that this is the top. Thor is just saying if we fill this zone of 200, look for us to come down and retest these tops and this support line here at 187 before either breaking down further. And if we continue up, Thor has another juicy call for us sitting all the way up here at 240. So we are looking bullish at this point, right? We are seeing the momentum. We did get the break of the downtrend. We did regain the RSI, and we are printing candles back above the short-term EMA. So everything at this point is looking bullish, but watch out for these short zones for a retest or maybe a quick snipe. Again, let me just say this, not financial advice. Do your own research. And this is just kind of this is where my thoughts are in the market. If you were with me on other streams, you heard me talk a lot about, selling some of our coins to farm and get that coin lower to accumulate in our bags, right? Well, that's because we were in the accumulation phase of the market, right? We were in the part of the bear where we were showing a little bit of life, but we were certainly not back yet, right? So that was the time to use the bags that you had to try to farm more in those zones. Again, not financial advice, do your own research, but in my opinion, we've left that part of the market. I wouldn't be selling Solana and trying to buy back a little bit more Solana cheaper. I wouldn't be selling Solana and trying to buy it back cheaper, right? If anything, maybe take profits on some of your longs and wait for the next big Thor long. Um, but if you want a short, maybe open up a perpetual. That way you're always holding on to your spot bags as this market rips. Same with Bitcoin, right? Instead of selling some of your Bitcoin here and trying to buy Bitcoin back cheaper, or selling Bitcoin here and trying to buy it back cheaper, maybe you want to hang on to your Bitcoin because we think it can 2 to 3x from here in the long run of the bull, and go ahead and open up a perpetual short, right? That way, the worst that can happen for this trade, per se, the worst that could happen is that your short gets stopped out. And if your short gets stopped out, well, at least you've got your spot bag to continue for the bull run up, right? Because I mean, it looks like we could be finding support here and rip right through this Thor call. We may very well do that. We'll find out shortly. But again, my opinion, we're past that time in the market where we're trying to farm our coin to accumulate more. We're in the part where we're hanging on to what we did accumulate. We're taking some profits and we're going to load up on big dips, right? Big dips, but we're going to take profits on the way up. We're not trying to farm our coin. Short, short term shorts maybe look to open up those perpetuals. Um, Looking at let's go into Thor so I can just show you these calls that we've got there. And actually that Bitcoin call, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a perfect time to look it up too. That Bitcoin short call that is active right now, that is the call that um, I got the wrong wallet. Oh well, we'll do it another time. There's actually several shorts stacked for Bitcoin in this zone right here, and I did not have all them set because not all those calls were made. So the reason I didn't add them too is this is the call that we had on stream last time that we left off. But if you log into Thor right now, you'll see that there are several different calls being made right here that are all kind of stacked up, and the take profit points are stacked up. So I wouldn't necessarily be shaken out of this call just yet if we pump up. You're actually going to be filling other Thor short calls that also have similar take profit points. Um, let's go to our list and look at some other things. We talked about Kasama, right? I made one of my calls last week. A call of the week was for Kasama, and we had this Thor long call, and then we had this Thor long call, right? This Thor entry, yes, we did dip below it, but we did come back and have hit take profit point on it. The reason that I'm so interested in this call on Kasama is because not only is it a super juicy call, even from the top of the entry point here up to take profit, we're looking at a 56% call, right? That's a really juicy call, good take profit. Love that call. I think Kasama and Polkadot and the parachain is going to have a run and a comeback. And I think they are going to go back toward all time highs. And that's what that blue line up top represents, was last all-time high. And if you look, that's 2,000%. If we fill this Thor long entry, we're looking at a near 20x out of Kasama to retest all-time highs. So this is a juicy call that I have been looking at. We're going to go ahead and jump right on down the degenerate rabbit hole. We're going to look up our beloved Kira. Kira has been making insane, massive moves. I mean, from the breakout, we had a 10x. We had a 10x from the breakout. Fucking congratulations, frogs. Um, Now we've had that 60% retrace. We talk about this often, that 60%, and we're looking to find support here and potentially make our move back up. Yo, crypto, you hot micing, bro. So we are looking to find the support here potentially and move back up. If not, we know where are other zones to where we're going to accumulate some more is. But we've all got belief in Kira. And I don't remember, I think it was on Rumpty's stream. I'm not sure, on the Cyber Dojo. We were talking about just some random shit, and I mentioned something about a tattoo, and then they said, well, what about a cyber frog tattoo? And I said, if we send Kira to $1, I'll fucking tattoo the side of my dome something cyber frog related. So there's that on the table.
Frog's fuck.
One of these streams will
Frog's
be a
fuck.
live stream of me getting my skull tattooed with a frog if Kira hits $1. So let's fucking get some girls. Pump them bags. But Kira's looking good. It looks to be finding support. It is that 60 range down.
Frog's fuck.
Hop into when. Man, same thing. We broke that downtrend. We had our support zone established from back here, right? We knew these support zones from areas that we left untested before. Grab my tool here, and if I measure down, look at that. 60% retrace down to that bottom. We found the support. We started making the higher lows. We found the support on the bottom. We got the break. We got the retest. We pushed up here. We set our fib. We didn't come all the way quite back down to where I like to, but we also did retest this zone once earlier. We didn't pump straight up. So we found solid support. We said, here's take profit when. Boom! Take profit when. Take profit one on our when, and that was a clean 50%. And we're calling our take profit 2 zone up here 55% for a 100% swing. That being said, 50 is a mental number. We're going to see some resistance at 50. Is momentum going to carry us up to 55? We shall see. Let's dive right into Bonk. Bonk. We've seen kind of the same thing, but we haven't seen the breakout just yet, right? We've seen the pump up, and when we grab our fib and we look at the last top there, down to this zone, down to the top of our last zone here would be the 60. But from our all-time, which was recent, very recent all-time as well, we're down here on our 60%, right? This established zone that we blew through. We talked about this last week. That was our 60% zone where we were looking to accumulate and where we were looking to get out of, or I'm sorry, where we were looking to start accumulating. And then when we start to break out, we're looking out for the breakout, that retest, and really start to push back up. So yeah, things are looking good in that aspect, and we're look to be making that higher low moving forward with bulk. So things are looking good there. Let's go to Jupe, because if you were a frog, you got a Jupe airdrop. And if you got frogs, you've also got free Thor calls on Jupe. So not only did we give you free Jupe, but we've given you the tool to make more Jupe off of your Jupe, right? In my opinion, Jupiter is going to just keep impressing. It's going to keep moving up, right? It is the bones and tools of what is needed for the DeFi within the Solana ecosystem. I think we're just going to keep on going with it. That being said, I did think we were going to see a touch of resistance here in this zone just because of how much kind of accumulation we saw here without really, we broke out but immediately broke back down. We made a top here, so I saw us making a top there again. I'm hoping to get Jupe back down here. Jupe at $1 or Jupe at 71 cents. That would be the ultimate. Are we going to see that? I don't know. Jupe just keeps continuing to fucking impress, right? So we might not see that. But down here at $1, that's our 40 cent. And down here at about 68 cents. But, I was calling 71 because of our zone, near 60% down. That would be another great spot to load up. We'll take a look at Pith real quick. Pith is an oracle that is just going to help support and push Solana forward as a DeFi chain as well. Pith has been making some strong moves. We do see a little bit of flag down right now. Um, you know, come on now. You know, if you look at this zone, we are kind of making the flag down. But when we do find that support, which could be right here, you know, this is why we draw our support lines. This lets us know what's happening. When we do break out of this trend and find that support back up and out, Pith could continue to impress and well as well. Remember, this is another token that was kind of born at the with the bull, right? So pretty much ever since it's come out, yes, it did take a dip, but ever since it broke that initial downtrend, right? Ever since it broke this initial downtrend right here, we got the break and retest and found support. Pith has just been continuing to impress and really run forward. Um, Another good load point to try to buy some would be if we break down here to test these tops again. I don't know that we will, but you know, you're looking at 25% from that retrace down. Things that are super strong are not going to make that full 60% retrace and all. So, yeah, we're looking pretty solid there. Again, another token. If you had frogs, you were given some gecko, right? You were given some gecko by holding cyber frogs. Um, you also, with a number of cyber frogs, have access to gecko calls on Thor. So again, we give you the money and we give you the tool to make more money with it. Now, what do I see here from Gecko? Again, from this last pump, I bring it down here. I see that 60% retrace. I was seeing this is our accumulation zone, and we actually broke out of it sooner than I thought. And we found support right on it. And we look to be finding support on it again. And we're sitting at 60% down right now. So, you know, we looked at when earlier and how high it had pumped. And we're looking at Gecko and how it's still flat looking for its pump. So if you can cycle profits from things that have pumped, you got good entries, you take good profits, you move them into other good entries and prepare to take profits. That's how we work with the market flow. And of course, always resort back to Thor. Thor is always going to give you those target zones, just like we see here on Kasama. And we know we've got that big load up call, and we know we've got calls on Solana here to look forward to. Again, we've got that short call that's about to go active. Keep eye on that. We've got another short call all the way up at 241. We've also got that long call down here at the solid number of 150, right? That mental number of 150. If we do continue to drop a little bit lower, right? If we do drop back into a downtrend, right? So those are the zones we're keeping in mind. And then if we see some type of major hit, Thor has a call down here for Solana down at $90. Bitcoin, our eye on Big Daddy. We've got a Thor short that is currently active. We've got a couple more Thor shorts that are stacked right here with very similar take profit points. So don't get shaken out of this one too easily. We've got some other calls right there. But if we do continue to pump, we do continue to go bullish. Remember, we do have this short up here at a new all-time high for Bitcoin of $82,000. I hope we rip up to it. Frogs Fuck, Thor Prince, not much left to be said. If you're going to be an NFT NYC, we have some big news coming for Cyber Frogs collection as well as Thor. It's going to be a fucking party. And yeah, be there. Frogs fuck, Thor Prince. Appreciate y'all. See you next time. Thursday morning on Marketflow. On Mondays with Frogs, we've got the crypto or the Cyber Dojo with Rumpty. That is on Mondays. Tuesdays, we're right here for Marketflow. Wednesdays, I don't know what the fuck we do Wednesdays. I'm pretty sure there's something. Thursday mornings, I do Marketflow. Thursday evenings, we got Dregs. Friday, we've got Frogs Fuck Twitter Spaces. It's always fucking popping here in Frog. So appreciate you guys. Watch these
Frogs
fucking
fuck.
levels. Let's do this. See y'all.